Hi everybody, Sean here at PassFirstTime.ie. Welcome to this week's podcast. Coming up later on, we'll have a question in Ask the Instructor from one of my students this week. But we're going to start off with some maybe unusual and interesting driving stories from around the world. I think we'll do this maybe regularly now as well from this week on. And the first one is a record number of driving test fails. Now, a lot of people are perturbed when they fail the driving test once, twice, 3 times maybe. But how would you feel if you failed the test 157 times? It's a fact. This is a man from London who failed the test 157 times and passed the test on his 158th attempt. You must say fair play to him. A lot of people would have given up a long time before that. So well done. That's it's a record, of course. I wonder what the record here in Ireland is. I've never heard it. These stats are available in the UK, but I've never heard stats like this here in Ireland. So if you have failed once or twice, you really shouldn't worry at all. Sure, it's a thing of nothing. 157. There's hard work passing the driver test. From there we go to driverless cars. And here in Ireland, I suppose the talk really at the moment is about electric cars, hybrid cars, in other words, automatic cars, and the demise of the manual gear shift. Now, there is no doubt manual cars will be eased out over the next number of years. Already you can't buy a lot of cars with a manual gearbox. They've changed completely to hybrids and automatics, and this is only going to increase over the next couple of years. And the next step then is driverless cars. And at the moment in the US, in Germany, in the UK, and now in China, they are testing driverless cars on the motorways. So how far away the reality of that is, I don't know. In the US, I believe there are some shuttle buses which are driverless in situ at the moment. Now, I do believe that they have somebody on board just to make sure nothing goes wrong. But they are out there already. How long before they become a common sight or even land here in Ireland, I don't know. But I have a funny feeling the whole motoring scene, the whole motoring landscape which hasn't changed really dramatically in a long time, many years, is going to change dramatically over the next 5, 10 and 20 years. And finally, in our stories from around the world, the waiting time for driving tests here in Ireland, okay, it's long at the moment, but it's not near as long as the UK. In the UK, people are waiting for months and months on end. And there's a petition there at the moment signed by over 33,000 people saying, and this was mooted here in Ireland as well, that driving instructors should be allowed to judge whether their pupils are at driving test standard or not, and to actually give them, pass them themselves, give them a driving licence. Now, I don't think this will happen. I don't think it's going to happen in the UK. I don't think it's going to happen here. There are many reasons why. And you could argue both sides, there's no doubt about it. But the waiting lists are causing consternation absolutely everywhere. It doesn't seem too bad. We talked about this on the podcast last week about Ireland. It doesn't seem too bad in certain test centres here at the moment. And under level 5, of course, essential workers are being tested reasonably quickly. So we'll just have to see how it goes when level 5 is lifted and everybody's available to take their driving tests again. To the Ask the Instructor question for this week, and this was a question I was asked by a guy just before he went in for test about 2 days ago. It's a common enough question, and it's important to know the answer. He said to me, is it all right if I ask the examiner something if I'm not sure or if I don't understand the examiner? And the answer is absolutely yes. So if for any reason you mishear the examiner, if the examiner with masks now and everything is a bit muffled, if you're unsure at any stage, immediately don't leave it go. And the examiner would prefer that you ask them a question and figured out what was happening, as opposed to not asking and maybe going the wrong way or taking the wrong exit off a roundabout or something like that. So if you're unsure about anything, you can always ask. And another little tip on top of that, some people with the right and the left turns, I find it confusing myself. You can ask the examiner to point in the direction that they want you to travel as well. So if you want to him to point when he's to take a left turn to point to the left, or the right turn point to the right. You can do that as well, and examiners are quite willing to do that without any difficulty. So that's another little tip for you there. So hopefully you found that all very interesting and helpful. If you want more tips, go to our website PassFirstTime.ie, or our YouTube channel. Just type Pass First Time into YouTube as well, and we'd love if you'd subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's only in its infancy. It's only very small at the moment, but we're putting regular videos up there as well. So if you could, it would be great if you could subscribe to that as well as the podcast. That's it for this week. I'll talk to you on another Ask the Instructor and stories from around the world on Pass First Time, same time next week.